Beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna click, I'm gonna go to share, and then I'm clicking this beautiful thing, and I'm sharing that now. Are we good? Am I sharing my screen? Awesome. Okay, so here we are, you guys. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I'm gonna open this up. So I'm Alicia, and I'm from Hello Pearl Interiors. And thank you so much for joining us today. We're gonna go over 5 easy ways that you can breathe life into your home office. So I'm an interior designer and a color specialist, and I'm obviously the owner of Hello Pearl Interiors. Through my co-collaborative approach, I am able to make beautiful interior spaces accessible to everyday people like you and me. And a fun fact is that I have actually never hired an interior designer myself. And you may be saying, duh, because you are one, but honestly, the reason why I've never hired an interior designer is because I can't afford one. So it's a legitimate statement that, that it's expensive to hire an interior designer, but my approach is that I am striving to make interior design accessible to everyone, so it's not just a boutique service. And I do that through tiered quotes so that my clients can participate in the process in the way that they feel that they can. I also, of course, offer a white glove service where I take care of everything from start to finish, but I love it when my clients interact with me and we co-collaborate on the project. It's just so fun. So I use furnishings, color, and organizational systems strategically to prompt my clients to come to life through their interior spaces. So I do custom curated color palettes, or maybe just a source list for my clients if they're willing to do the legwork on their own to order their products. And then I would like to go over today the 5 easy ways that you can breathe life into your home office. So this is recorded, obviously, and if you need to leave early, no problem. Don't be shy. I'm not going to take it personally. You can access it later on. And, you know, being in the middle of a pandemic has just provided a really unique experience for so many of us. And for those of us who are working from home or quote unquote crisis schooling, you know, when we got that news, the other day I was talking to my kids about when they left school. And, you know, probably many of you can remember they left school, you may have left work thinking, oh, I'll be back in a couple weeks, like after everything's cleaned up. And, you know, that didn't happen. There was so much unknowing in that process with everything that happened. And, you know, that creates a level of trauma in and of itself. And so a lot of us just did what we could to just get to work, to take our minds off of the fact that we were really confused about what was going on. And, you know, for the most part, some of us still are, but so thankful for the vaccine. Anyway, so we created these crisis spaces, right? And now we have the opportunity to revisit these spaces that we've created if we haven't already, and ask ourselves, is this still serving me? And if not, what can I do to create a space that allows me to be productive, but also still helps me capitalize on the comforts of home? And if you're like my husband, he honestly says that he feels more productive at home. And, you know, there could be various reasons why. You know, he's not walking around the office and making small talk and chit-chatting with, you know, his colleagues. Or maybe it's just that the ease of doing life at home and not having that commute and being able to walk into the kitchen and grab that glass of water, or have access to that coffee pot, or being able to, you know, walk into the pantry and grab a snack. Maybe that's helping him. Anyway, I can certainly share that having my kids home and homeschooling them and having the opportunity to do that has helped us and definitely strengthened our relationship. And I hope that the same is true for you, in that being at home and working from home and having sort of this shift in where we're putting our energies and then being able to also drop those unnecessary or those time suck things like the commute to the office has helped you also to connect with the people in your space as well. But going back to my design approach, one of the things that I love to do is I love to empower my clients to make design decisions on their own. And, you know, it's funny. I mean, why would they need me if they're making design decisions on their own? But the truth is that so many people who come to me really doubt their abilities. And so they overthink it, and then they never take a chance. And so they don't know what they're capable of. So in this co-collaborative approach of working together, and this is sort of an opportunity for us to work co-collaboratively too, and you know, as I'm sharing these 5 easy ways. But alongside this, when we're working together, I'm sharing my knowledge and expertise as we're working alongside one another. So, and it's my hope that they're empowered at the end of our time together to be able to make some of these decisions on their own. And then, you know what? They might not need to call me, but what I found is that throughout this process, it also is sort of this unraveling of, or enriching experience for the client as well. Unraveling maybe wasn't the best word, but it builds up the client as well as a person, so they feel like they can take chances, and sometimes that spills over into other areas of their life as well, and it's been really fun to watch. So it makes sense that our homes are really familiar places, and you know, it's really hard to sometimes mimic the flow of what's happening at the office at home. And it is definitely possible that we could get too comfortable at home, that we then are not as productive. But it's my goal to help you strike that balance through this share and through this presentation, to find that perfect balance between productivity and comfort. So with that said, let's get started. You'll hear me talk a lot today about what I refer to as like the invisible space or the invisible layer in any given space. So we have, of course, like beautiful furnishings and we have color, but like what's happening in the middle there, right? Because we can't only just have beautiful spaces. What's happening in the middle are these systems that we're putting in place so that we can create ease of living in our home. So whether it's organizational strategies or whether it's creating the proper flow, outlining the flow through the space, so how someone's walking through the space, the main traffic pattern, there are many ways to capitalize on this invisible layer of this design. And so we don't want to waste our valuable time by having to do so much in our spaces when we have free time that we're not able to use that time to connect with the people who are in our space. So by using this, you know, creating systems within the home, we're then able to create more ease in your day-to-day life so that you can connect with the people and have a more harmonious life. It's not just about the aesthetic. So that leads us to our first tip, which is to rethink your space. So like I said before, you know, we created these spaces out of, you know, we were in crisis mode. And so first, I would encourage you to tune in. And this is what I do with my clients. I ask them to tune into themselves. A lot of times, we don't even know that we have a need until we stop and take an inventory. So we just keep going and keep going and keep going, putting one foot in front of the other and saying, oh, I don't like this or I don't like that. But we don't actually take the time to ask ourselves things like, how do I work best? Or what supplies do I need to do my best work? Or how can I accomplish this at home? So if we have the answer to all of these questions and more, obviously, there may be more for you, then we can start and build the foundation from the bottom up by creating a design that has the best systems in place, utilizing the best colors that will support us in the roles that we are in. But we need to build the foundation first. So by answering questions like these, we can figure out what our threshold is. Where is our foundation? So if you have anything that you think that you could add to this, certainly do type it into the text box. I would love to know some questions that you might ask yourself. But I think that this is a good start. And then this helps tailor your space to you and you alone, right? So, I mean, it's no wonder, like, we go to the office and sometimes we're, you know, you're literally being like picked up from one place at home where you're able to do like anything, you know, it's your space, you feel comfortable, and then you go to the office where there are all these rules, right? So sometimes it's hard to just have to put yourself into another role. So that's kind of the beauty of working at home, is we can strike a balance between these two places. So for example, when we're rethinking our space and we're asking ourselves things like, how do I work best? You know, maybe is it sitting? Is it standing? There's amazing standing desks. Is it near a window? Do you need some natural light? Do you need complete silence? Or do you need to be able to sprawl out and put all of your things out so that you can have access to them? And then also, what do I need to do my best work? Is it a laptop, a notebook, access to a pencil sharpener, coffee, water, or a bathroom nearby? Answers to all of these questions will be different for all of us, but this helps you tailor your space to your own individual needs. And then, how can you accomplish this at home? So when we're rethinking our space, we also need to think outside the box. And that's a really cliche statement. People say it all the time. But if you don't have a trained eye to look at a space or to look at your home and say, okay, well, this may not have been functioning as an office before, but is there anywhere here that I can set up shop for myself so that I can be productive? And, you know, I've seen people do all kinds of things, like open up a closet and take everything out and create, take the doors off and create their office in there. I mean, we do do unique things or take unique steps when we have unique challenges. But so I encourage you to look around your space, really sit and be present with it. And ask yourself to have fresh eyes for your space. Which place, which area in your home is going to serve you best? So, moving on to number 2, we want to create flow, right? So many of us, heard those funny stories or saw those funny videos, the TikToks, what have you, at the beginning of the pandemic, where our crisis spaces that we set up we didn't plan them out properly. People being in the shower and walking out of the bathroom into the bedroom, and then suddenly they realize that their spouse is on a Zoom or something. And while that is appalling, and could you imagine if it happened to you? Hopefully it didn't happen to you. We need to take this into account. So you have to consider, what are your commonly used spaces in your home? What are the main traffic patterns? And then also, is there, where's your workspace orientation? So you don't want light blaring in at you so that you're completely washed out when you're on a Zoom call. You don't want to be pointing your Zoom camera toward a bathroom or something along those lines. So really think about how you're orienting your space. And then you also want to ensure that all of your supplies are accessible. And this is really important because you don't want to be searching. I mean, when you're at the office, you pretty much know where everything is because you have your own little space. But when you're at home, it's different. You might have Sharpies over there in a container, and then suddenly you realize, oh my God, I really need some I really need some sticky notes, and oh, where did I put those, you know? So making sure that all of your supplies are accessible so you're not wasting your valuable time during the day and interrupting your productive flow by searching for things. So these are really important things to consider. So next, number 3 leads us to decreasing visual clutter. Now, at the end of this presentation, you're going to receive a link so that you can download my free source list with a lot of really cool products on it. I did a lot of research on this, and some of them I use myself, but it gives you some tools that you could potentially purchase if that felt right for you to help make your space more accessible. So decreasing visual clutter. This is one of the things that I'm talking to my clients about all the time. Visual clutter is incredibly taxing. It's emotionally taxing. It's physically taxing because like if you're, you know, stressed out about where does this belong, and I don't have a place for this, or I really need to purge, and you know, all of these things, it's weighing on you all the time. Either you're acting and doing that, or you're just stressed out about it. So it's not allowing you to be completely and fully present in your space. So I'm always encouraging my clients to go through their things and put like items together. So even in drawers, if you're opening, we all have that junk drawer in our home. And, you know, if you open up your junk drawer, that probably stresses you out at times. So having too much clutter can lead to overwhelm and an inability to focus. And we really need to make sure that we're focusing when we're at work, right? So making sure that everything has a home, and then investing in organizational tools you love. Now, some people may not have an office that they can leave set up all the time. You might have to put your office away at the end of the day. And so in that source list that you're going to receive, you'll see that I included a little cart, like an art cart, but that would be a really good option for someone who had to put everything away at the end of the day. And that would actually be really nice if you had to do that, or if you wouldn't even have to do it. If that's something that you chose to do, it would really mimic leaving the office, don't you think? So these little products that I've included at the bottom here were really cool things that I found all across the internet. And I love this little one down here in the corner. This has magnets on it, so you can arrange these pieces, even the 2 wood pieces at the bottom, the bases, you can arrange them in all different ways so you can ensure that your stuff stays organized. And then going back to number 1, when you're taking an inventory of what your needs are and how you work best, you already know, these are my favorite pins. And so you have your favorite pins, and there they are in your little organizer. Everything is set up because you built it from the ground up and tailored it to your needs. So I love decluttering. It's so fun. I love decluttering other people's spaces, and I always have. So I'm super passionate about this subject. And this one though, over in the corner, this password book, I need that. And I'm going to have to purchase it after this because I'm creating all these new accounts and I am losing track of my passwords. Moving on to the next one. So infuse you in your space. Again, you know, this is a really unique aspect of working from home. So while at the office, you may be able to put up pictures of yourself and your family in your cubby or in your office or what have you. It's not really your space. It's the office. But infusing you in your space allows you to truly tailor your space to your needs. So one of the exercises that I give my clients, and it's so fun, I feel interiors like and textiles like viscerally. I love them. I get so passionate when I walk into a space. So it actually dawned on me that when I was giving my clients this piece of homework, that maybe it wasn't resonating with them that much, because when I use the description, makes your heart sing, maybe they can't connect with that. But if you can't connect with that, like I can, then identifying something that you love, that you really love, and it doesn't have to be something like an office product or something that's in your home. It could be anything. It could be the beach. You love going to the beach. If that's the thing that you love, then asking yourself, what does this say about me as a person? And how can I take pieces of this, whether it be your color palette, or whether it be the texture, whatever it is, taking it from that and taking those pieces that remind you of that thing or that place and infusing that into your space. Again, this tailors it to your needs. So then secondly, increasing the cozy factor, right? How many of us have been on a conference call? In fact, I'm freezing right now. This room doesn't have any heat in it, and I didn't bring a jacket. I'm rarely in this room. So increasing the cozy factor. So keeping a blanket, thrown over the back of your chair in the event you're going to need it, or, having some cute slippers that you can throw on during the day, or having a candle nearby if that feels right for you. Fun, funky pillows. That's what she said. If you're an Office fan, you get it. Or having a mug that will keep your coffee or your tea warm, your beverages warm while you're working. So again, you don't have to take time out of your day when you're in productivity mode to go over there and warm up your coffee. So taking those little steps to increase the cozy factor in your space. Letting the light shine in, okay? I am a firm believer that natural light is such an undervalued design element. And so I am a huge fan of keeping the drapes open. I love letting the light shine in. And it really influences our mood too. And with that said, letting the light shine in could also be getting one of those special lights that helps you with seasonal depression, because they really do make a difference. That could be another interpretation of letting the light shine in. And then shifting your focus toward living. And the reason why I say this is because so many of us are focused on what we can't do. It's a pandemic. So I mean this in a couple of ways, whether it be getting living plants for your space, or maybe it's that you took that trip with your family to, we went to Cuba a year and a half ago, and the other day we were looking at pictures, and my son said, I just miss Cuba, Mommy. I want to go back. And it's like having those memories to focus on to help us get through these tough times, and it feels like we don't know if there is a light at the end of the tunnel or when things are actually going to go back to normal. So printing those pictures out, having them available to you to remind you of what it's like to truly live, doing the things that you enjoy, or having these living, breathing plants in your space that give you something to tend to. Looking at them makes you happy, reminds you of spring, what have you. So shifting your focus toward living. This could even be goal setting for the future. There are so many things that we can do to focus on living either in the present or just life in general. And then sprinkling a little fun in your workspace. So this pillow, if you're a Michael Scott fan, that's what she said, or this fun rug over here. So doing something that just makes it playful, right? Is a really, really good way to infuse some life in your workspace. And then the last one is, everyone knows that I love color, is using color strategically. So this is a picture from when we went to Cuba a year and a half ago. And the reason why I shared this is because this is a spring color palette. So spring colors are colors that are clear and bright, and they don't have any black or gray added. They're very crisp colors. They're very juvenile. They remind us of fun. They're fun loving. So using colors that are clear and bright will help lift our spirits. So if we're in our house all the time and feel like we can't go out and our work and our home life is all intertwined, having color to help us with our emotions, is really helpful. So you might use, colors like yellow that promotes joy and happiness. Or you might use a blue that is a sense of peace and calm, or green that's very grounding. But all of these colors are very energizing because their foundation is yellow. And so maybe you live in an apartment complex, or you don't want to paint, or whatever, or you live in a rental. So get yourself a picture frame, one of the poster frames. They're really inexpensive. I sourced one. And put some fun wallpaper in it. Look at these fun waves. Put some fun wallpaper in it, or just take a piece of cardboard and paint it with a color that's really energizing to you. Have fun with this. And then maybe a piece of fabric or tapestry will suffice. I just saw someone the other day, they framed a small little rug, like what's the word? Anyway, they framed a rug and it looked so cool. So try and think outside the box. Infuse your favorite pieces. Do things to keep the mood light in your space while focusing on the systems that will help you be your most productive self, but also keeping yourself comfortable, right? And then thinking outside the box so that you know which space is going to serve you best. Because really, truly, this is one of the times that we can say, this is all about me. So this is all about you. What is going to make you the most productive version of yourself? And what's going to allow you to infuse that cozy factor just enough so you feel like you're at home and you can take advantage of being at home while still being productive, right? And still feeling like you're at the office. So that's the goal, to strike that balance. So this is my website, Hello Pearl Interiors. And there's all my contact information if you would like to reach out to me. I'm at Hello Pearl Interiors on Instagram. There's my email, and then Facebook is the same, at Hello Pearl Interiors. So I really look forward to hearing from you guys. And please do reach out. Thank you so much. Let's end this now. If I can stop share and